Bills! Yes! Jets trade up to number 3. We're getting a quarterback finally. Free agency stuff. Man, it's good to be back. To celebrate, since I was on a plane all day yesterday, I'm going to shotgun 3 beers for the Jets moving up to the 3rd overall pick. And then I'll get into all that other stuff. Ooh. This is Jets talk. Roll intro.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets!
Oh, thank God the Jets didn't trade down to 32. Not a Budweiser fan. Let's jump right into free agency and discuss the last week of Jet signings, what I think of them, and all that good stuff. All right, first up, Jermaine Johnson. Love the love the pick. Contract, 5 years, $72.5 million. Probably closer to a 3-year deal. All guaranteed money comes in those first 3 years, or most of it. So after 3 years, when he becomes 31, we can cut him. As far as I think, A+ pick for the Jets. Had a hole at cornerback, got a stud cornerback, got the best one out in the market. Pro Football Focus ranked him 68th corner in the league. In his snaps that were, press man coverage, there was number 2. So we'll say Mo Claiborne. 1 year, $7 million. Definitely happy with that selection, or pickup, I guess, retain, whatever. Real big fan of that. $7 million. He's had injury problems in the past. He stayed healthy for the most part last year. I think he's going to be way more comfortable as the number 2 corner, as opposed to taking on the number 1 receiver every single week. So big fan of that. Okay, moving on to Spencer Long, the center from Washington. We got him 4 years, $28 million. I think Pro Football Focus ranked him 19th overall. He only played in 7 games last year, so we missed a chunk of him. To put that in perspective, Weston Richburg got paid 5 years, $47 million. Jensen got 4 years, $42 million. So when you look at where he's ranked as opposed to the money he got, he's right on par with where we should have been. I think it's a good signing. I think for the money, for the flexibility, obvious upgrade over Wesley Johnson. Big fan of that move. I think Jets really got good value. My favorite pickup that we got, Avery Williamson, inside linebacker replacing Demario Davis. I was a little sad to see Demario go, but he's getting up there in age. Last year was his best year. Pro Football Focus ranked him as the 8th best inside linebacker, where Williamson is the 10th best inside linebacker. One thing to take into account, though, if you look at the duration of their careers, Davis is about a 59.5 ranking for his entire career. So, not really that great, where Williamson is a 75.5. So over the course of his career, he has been statistically better and consistently performing at a better level than Demario Davis was. Not to mention he's 26 years old. So we have him for 3 years. He'll be 29 years old. We get him in the prime of his career. Real big fan of this move. I think compared to Davis's money, Davis got 3 years, $24 million. We got a cheaper contract and a better player consistently. Running back, we addressed that with Isaiah Crowell, the Browns running back. 25 years old, so obviously a lot of tread left on the tires. He's kind of reminiscent to Chris Ivory, where he's going to be a bull. He's going to get us those tough yards. We didn't really get that with Forte and Powell and McGuire. They're a little more finesse backs. I guess McGuire might have a little bit more power, but Crowell will definitely be able to get that, 3rd and 2, whatever, goal line stand type yardage. I think it's a good signing overall. I don't think it prevents us from going running back in the draft, but it obviously covers us enough where if a running back we like falls to the 3rd round, we get we're going to be able to cut Powell and replace Powell with this rookie, whatever we want. Mike Pennell, 3 years, $12 million. Defensive end, we retain him. He's only 26 years old. He's going to be the pseudo replacement for Mo Wilkerson. Obviously, a lot cheaper than Mo. He's not the dominant force that Mo used to be, and we could still go out and sign a D end or whatever pressure guy. I think we'll probably try to re-sign Ely as well. That way, we have two guys rotating in and out. So we might see a little bit of a regression there as far as a talent standpoint, but for the money, we can upgrade other positions. I think this is a good move. So that brings us to the quarterbacks. So obviously, first off, we tried to get Kirk Cousins. Obviously, went 3 years, $84 million, I think. We bring back Josh McCown, 1 year, $10 million. My first thought with this was I was real happy because, McCown played well. We were able to judge the roster. But my next thought is, at 39 years old, he's kind of old. We could get a cheaper guy on a lower contract, and he's going to be a lot younger. He could possibly help us. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, I started thinking about it a little more. Last year, McCown played 1 possession in the preseason. So when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? If we draft a rookie, or when we draft a rookie, they're going to see a lot of the preseason snaps, and they're going to not have McCown play preseason, so that way we can judge, the rookie quarterback or whoever that other person is. And then, obviously, that leads us into Teddy Bridgewater. 1 year, $6 million. I think it could go up to $15 million with incentives if he's on the roster the first day of the of the season, and then progressively on if he starts. I love the move. Absolutely love it. It makes a lot of sense. I think at that point, I was thinking we're going to draft a quarterback. We have 2 guys that are injury prone, relatively low amounts, $10 million and $6 million. That's still less than what Sam Bradford got from the Cardinals. So we have 2 options. I think what's going to happen is Teddy's going to play the preseason, and it's going to be Teddy versus rookie. And when you have those 2 going against each other, it's a win-win. So you get to see if Teddy wins that battle, Teddy's the starting quarterback. If Teddy's hurt and can't progress further and the rookie isn't quite ready, you start McCown, and then maybe you cut Teddy, whatever you want to do. If Teddy does well and the rookie does well, now all of a sudden maybe you play the rookie and Teddy becomes the trade bait at the end of the preseason, kind of how Sam Bradford was traded to the Vikings. I don't expect to get that high of a pick, but if you could swap him for a pick, all of a sudden that signing looks a lot better. Then if the rookie looks bad and Teddy looks okay, then maybe McCown starts and Teddy's the backup, and then you don't have to rush the rookie into the starting lineup when you're not necessarily ready to put him in there. Something that we didn't really allow Geno or Sanchez to do. Sanchez obviously started from game 1. Geno wound up starting from game 1 because Rex wanted to win the Snoopy Bowl. Whatever. But I do like that move. I like the combination of McCown and Bridgewater because it gives us a lot of flexibility. We still have around $45 million in cap space after all our signings, plus or minus a little bit. It's going to take us around $9 or $10 million to sign our draft class. So we still have $35 million worth of cap to go out and spend on players. Which kind of brings me to my little bit of a point. So the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, was a free agent from the Cardinals, and he just fit so well. We saw tweets from Jamal Adams and the Honey Badger going back and forth, and the Flying Tigers, and they're going to be great. And he's coming to the Jets, and everyone's getting riled up. And then he signs with the Texans for $7 million. I was like, wow. We could have cut Buster Skrine and basically used his salary towards the Honey Badger. But, whatever. I get it. He's playing with Watson. He's playing with a good defensive backfield. Probably a better chance to win right now as opposed to the Jets, who, you don't know who they're going to have at quarterback. But 1 year later, who knows? Honey Badger's 25 right now. I think he'll be 26 next year. So maybe we get him next year. Who knows? All right. So that leads us into the biggest news. And the Jets trade up from number 6 to number 3 with the Indianapolis Colts. And I couldn't be happier. The trade compensation was perfect. There's people that are absolutely bananas that think this is a bad deal. They say 3 second-round picks plus 6 for just a third-round pick. Oh, you're in the draft chart. It doesn't make sense. We lost a ton of value. First off, draft chart should not be used that way. The draft chart should be, or draft trade chart, should be used in a way to compare other teams' picks. So if you look at our draft class and how many picks we have and what their value is versus the Buffalo Bills and what their draft picks are worth, you look at those two values and you see, okay, if they go against each other, who has more ammo to go up to trade with the Colts? Obviously the Jets did. Even though the Bills had 2 first-round picks, they trade up from 21 to 12 with Cordy Glenn. We're freaking out, March 12th, Bills move up. Apparently March 12th was when the Jets started talking to the Colts to get up to that third spot. But obviously, okay, so you look at both those draft classes and you say, oh, well, the third pick is worth X amount, so we should only give up this amount. That's not how it works. The draft chart was created prior to the rookie pay scale. Since the rookie pay scale became a thing, you're talking Sam Bradford, who signed for, I think it was $50 million, and then the following year you get Cam Newton, who signs for $25 million. So the value of a quarterback at the top of the draft is so much more valuable than the draft picks themselves. You're never going to get equal value when trading up for a quarterback. The only way to use that chart reasonably well is to compare other teams to each other when they're looking to move up. Or if maybe you're looking to move back and you want to get at least that rough amount. But as far as going up to get a quarterback, you're going to spend a premium. So one thing you can look at with those 3 second-round picks that the Jets gave up, it's really, hey, the Jets traded 2 second-round picks and Sheldon Richardson, who they weren't going to sign anyway, to the, for the Colts' third pick, Javon Curse. You get Curse and a franchise quarterback for Sheldon and 2 second-round picks. It's a no-brainer all day. Anyone who's upset with this is an absolute idiot. I'm sorry. You haven't thought of it clearly. You gotta get your guy. So that leads us to, who are the Jets going to get at 3? There's a lot of speculation. I think it's interesting that the Jets decided to pull the trigger after they went to Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen's still burping. Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen's pro days. I think that says a lot. They haven't been to Mayfield, or they haven't been to Allen's or Darnold's yet. Those two, I think the Jets probably want Darnold number 1 overall, just because he's kind of the consensus number 1, safest pick, I guess. So if you think Darnold goes 1, and you're cool with Mayfield and Rosen, obviously if you trade up to 3, you're going to get one of those 3 guys. If Allen impresses you at his pro day, then all of a sudden you have that extra option there. But I think I really think, based on what McCagnon has drafted in the past, I think we're going to see our top, 1A, Darnold, but I don't think he's going to fall to 3. But then you'll get, Rosen and Mayfield. Those are really the 2 that we were sold on. We're getting up to 3. The Giants and Browns weren't willing to trade out. I think just from a value standpoint, you're talking the Jets gave up those picks not only to get their franchise quarterback, but to prevent a division rival from getting their franchise quarterback. And if the Bills want to trade up, all of a sudden they have to get to number 2 to beat out the Jets, or maybe number 5. But it looks like the Broncos could take a quarterback, might not. People are going to say, hey, you know what, if you take Mayfield, it's a waste of a draft pick or a waste of a trade because you could have got him at 6. There's no guarantee the Jets could get him at 6. You're talking, if the draft goes, Darnold, Giants take a quarterback, Bills trade up to 3, they get a quarterback. And now if the Broncos take a quarterback, Jets are stuck with their thumb up their ass. So obviously, with the Jets moving up to 3, there could be 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 3. Maybe the Broncos decide to take a different player as opposed to a quarterback. So maybe a quarterback falls and all of a sudden, hey, the Jets could have gotten that quarterback at 6. That's not the way to look at it at all. I'd rather have the pick of, 2 or 3 quarterbacks and get our selection from that as opposed to just taking the leftovers. That would be the equivalent of, trying to go out on a date with 4 girls or 3 girls and, I'm fine, saving the extra money and extra picks or whatever to get the girl with the snaggletooth and the hairy upper lip. So moving up, all of a sudden you spend a little bit more money, you go on a nice date, you get the girl you want. That's the way I look at it, at least. And I'm really happy with it. I think the Jets signings, for the value that they got, obviously I wish they got Jensen. I wish they got Allen Robinson. I think that I'm a little upset they lost Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I think that's probably our biggest mistake because he didn't sign for a whole heck of a lot. But I think that does show promise in our young tight ends that we haven't gotten to see a whole lot of yet. So I'm willing to roll the dice on that. And with the amount of money we're going to be able to roll over to next year or possibly sign other free agents with, I'm a big fan. A lot of these contracts are one-year deals as far as, McCown and Bridgewater, so they're going to be gone in a year. Rookie's going to take over. I'm really, really happy with that. I think the Jets killed it. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you want number 3? Did the Jets get fleeced? I don't think they did, but I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, go Jets.